Hey Bookends! Welcome to this week's 10-minute book review. I'm 10. So this week's book review is going to be on The Chilling Effect. It's an ebook, so we have another e-reader, and it's by Valerie Valdes. So full disclosure, we received this as an art copy via NetGalley at no cost for the purpose of review. So we like to start off each one of our reviews with a star point, as in out of 10 stars, how many stars would this particular book garner? And we also like to give a rating, as in if this was a movie or a TV show, what would it be rated? Star point, this is a 6 out of 10 stars. It really could have done better. We're going to discuss that. But it wasn't a bad book overall. And unfortunately, rating wise, if this was a movie, it would probably be rated R. As a book, you can skip over things. If it was a movie, I'm sure that everything in it would be put on screen. So jumping right on in, we follow Eva, who is the pilot of kind of a freighter ship. Think like a Han Solo, except, you know, not really doing illegal stuff, just kind of freighting things along. And it starts off in kind of a funny way. There are these cats. They can read minds. Psychic. They're psychic cats. They're actually kittens. They can read minds, and they've gotten loose on the ship. They're part of her cargo. And basically the first chapter is them just trying to wrangle these adorable little kittens back. And as they're wrangling these kittens, the reader, which would be you and I, we're meeting each one of the crewmates on the ship. So we have one crewmate who is like an ex-soldier. He's very sweet, but he's an ex-soldier. So he is susceptible to suggestions because they did that to him forcefully. Now, I guess he agreed to it because he agreed to be a soldier, but his mind was altered in that way. So, you know, he does have his own opinions, but yeah. There's also a doctor by the name of Pink, and she has a cybernetic eye. Then there is a guy who looks like a pangolin. Or at least he has scales like a pangolin, and he has claws like a pangolin. Then he also has those little face protruder things like an ant has that helps them shovel food into their mouth. Yeah. And then there is Min, who is the pilot, and she pilots the ship completely with her brain. That's it. So she doesn't have to actually touch anything. And then Eva is the captain. So the whole shipment with the psychic cats, that falls through, and they keep the cats. I would have liked to have seen more cats throughout the book, actually, but you get to see them on the cover. But sorry, sounds to the hood. Might be a stolen car. Might just be someone driving fast. You never know. So yeah, you get to see them on the cover, but you don't really get to see too much of them in the actual book. So basically the premise of the book is that Eva's sister has been kidnapped by a interstellar mob called the Fridge. They're called the Fridge because they take their victims, they put them in cryo storage, and they blackmail the families of the victims into doing what it is they want, whether it is doing something illegal, providing secrets that shouldn't be shared, what have you. And that's the only way to get their loved one out of cryo storage. So Eva doesn't want to tell anyone that her sister has been put into cryo for the Fridge because she doesn't really want to drag her team into it. And basically that is the premise of the book. Fridge bad, Eva not so bad, but kind of bad. Not you know, kind of a gray area. I would say chaotic neutral. I wouldn't quite go for a chaotic good. I would say chaotic neutral because she still is kind of self-serving. The character development was really good. You got to know Eva and you were basically inside of her head. The romance was cute and it was fluffy. The romance is between her and, I'm sorry, the guy who looks like a pangolin is named Vacker, which has, I forgot what, there's actually a word from a language that I was learning in school once. Is it Lithuanian? I don't know. Anyway, but his name is Vacker, and she has a crush on him. And fun fact, he has a crush on her too. But their relationship is very, I shouldn't say their relationship, because you don't really get to see a full development of a relationship. But the romance between them is very sweet. It's very fluff-filled. You're not going to actually read any actual sex or anything that's going to make someone blush if they blush when they read about sex. There's none of that in it. You just kind of get to learn their feelings, and by reading it you can kind of see where it's headed, and then the door closes, so you know, privacy. So the actual romance is pretty good. The action is pretty good as well. The book doesn't stay in one place too long. So you're inside Captain Eva's head, so you're living in her headspace without having to go through the daily minutia of every single feeling that she feels and every single action that she takes. So the book moves along quite nicely at a pretty good pace. I think we finished it in about a day and a half. It moves at quite a good pace. Here are the downs that brought it down. There is a lot of cursing. Like a lot of cursing. I can't say that it's misplaced because it is all in her head, and so if that is the way that she thinks, then that is the way the character thinks. You know, you can't tell someone how it is they should think. However, I feel as though it's a lot. Like, it's not a peppering or a sprinkling, it's a lot, and it's not light cursing, it's heavy. Basically, they use the one word a lot. They use the F word a lot, and that was kind of off-putting. So normally I would say if a book seems a little bit teetering on the rated R scale, that depending on the subject matter of the book itself, it could be edited out. But because what brings it to a rated R isn't content, right? It's not sexual. It's not the violence, because the violence is explained in a very good way, but it's not explained in a gory way. Like, I'm just making something up. If someone gets shot in the book, it just says that they got shot. It doesn't go into all the visceral aspects of it. But the cursing is just all throughout as if it's just regular language. And yeah, I'm not for it, so that brought it down. Also, there was a lot of Spanish used in the book without any context. So there's no problem with another language being used in a mostly English book. There's no problem with that. The only problem comes in is when there's no context for the reader to look at and understand what's going on. Like, there are some things that I could get, but I found myself having to go into Google Translator to figure out what was going on or what she meant by something, and that took me out of the story. So I wasn't able to stay immersed in the story, which was sad because it really is an immersive story. Yeah, so that brought it down to a 6, those two things, the amount of cursing that's in it and then the amount of Spanish that's in it, but with no context for someone who's non-Spanish speaking to understand it. So yeah, if this is something that you would like, it is a space opera. It is fast moving. The characters are fleshed out and likable. Wish there were more cats. Weren't enough cats in it. That's okay though. Could definitely see this as a movie, although it would be a movie that I personally would not go to see because of all of the language. But if that's something that you can get past, this might be a book you might want to check out. So once again, this is The Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdes. There we go. And we received this for free as an art copy via NetGalley for the purpose of review. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Bye, Bookends.